Hi everyone, it's Catherine with Colorado Yard Care. Let's talk about April yard care tasks. Hopefully during the month of March you had the chance to finish your spring cleanup, winter water, prune any shrubs that needed it, and put down weed preventer. So your shrubs and your perennial flowers and your ornamental grasses should all be taken care of for a little while. So let me share with you the things that you need to do during the month of April for your Colorado landscape. I'm going to be talking about 3 areas, including your lawn, weeds, and the weather. April is the time to turn your attention to the lawn. Here are the 4 things that you need to do. Number 1, continue to water. It's important to water about once per week during the month of April, even if you haven't turned on your sprinkler system just yet. It's the time when our lawns really start to green up and grow actively, and people who don't water regularly during April will see more winter kill and less vigorous green up. So, water weekly with your hose and sprinkler until you turn on your sprinkler system. Most homeowners on the Front Range will turn on their sprinklers sometime in April, while people who live at higher elevations will wait until May. However, your lawn doesn't care if it's getting water from a hose or a sprinkler system, it just knows that it needs water. So be sure to water it regularly, starting at the beginning of April. Number 2, begin mowing. As soon as the grass blades of your lawn reach 4 inches tall, it's time to start mowing regularly. We've all had a nice vacation from mowing over the winter months, and now it's time to get your mower tuned up and get the blades sharpened. Don't let the grass get too tall before you start to mow, or it will shock your grass. Number 3, core aerate your lawn. A core aerator machine is the one that has tines that pull plugs out of the lawn and deposit them on the surface. This is absolutely one of the best things that you can do to help your lawn thrive all summer long. Aeration breaks up compacted soil and it allows water and air to move deeper into the root zone. The result is that your lawn will grow deeper roots and will be healthier throughout the year. You can either rent a machine and core aerate yourself, or you can pay someone to do it for you. And I find that many times it's actually less expensive to pay someone to do it for you. There are lawn care companies, professional landscapers, and even some local nonprofits that will aerate for you. Just make sure that you water well 1 to 2 days before they come so that the soil is soft. If the soil is too dry, then the machine will just bounce off the surface and it won't do much good. If you water well, then the machine has a much better chance of pulling deep cores. Number 4, let's talk about fertilizing your lawn. Although April is the time of year when most people fertilize, it may not actually be the best time. If you fertilize too early, then your lawn will grow a lot of leaves at the expense of growing deep roots. And your lawn needs deep roots for the hot summer months when it uses a lot of water. So if you fertilized last September and October, then I'd skip fertilizing in early April and wait until early May. However, if you didn't even know that you were supposed to fertilize in September and October and you didn't do it, then go ahead and give your lawn a light fertilization in early April. I'd recommend about half the normal rate and then give your lawn a regular fertilization in May. Then mark your calendars to fertilize again once around Labor Day and then once around Halloween. And I'll be sure to talk about this more in future videos. So let's move on to our second topic, which is weeds. In April, you're going to start to see the early spring weeds showing up. And these are things like dandelions, horseweed, and grassy weeds like smooth brome and quackgrass. Unfortunately, there's no easy solution for the grassy weeds, but you can get an early start on controlling the broadleaf weeds. My recommendation is to spot spray them. I personally use a bottle of ready-to-use lawn weed killer and just spot spray the individual weeds. I like the brands that contain colorants that mark which weeds you've already sprayed so that you can keep track of where you've been. If you get close to one of your flowers or shrubs, just be sure to shield their leaves with a piece of cardboard so you don't get the spray on their leaves. By tackling your weeds early before they flower, you have a chance of getting rid of them before they get out of control. Third, let's talk about the weather. April is usually the month when we start to feel like spring has finally arrived, but in Colorado you can't count on the weather staying the same for long. It's common for us to get late spring snowstorms. These late spring snowstorms can bring a lot of much needed moisture, but they can also be challenging for our landscape plants. If you have any spring blooming plants like daffodils or Callery pear or other fruit trees, the cold temperatures can actually freeze the flowers. One solution is to cover your plants with what's called a frost blanket or floating row cover. It's a very simple, lightweight material that will trap the heat and keep your plants several degrees warmer than the outside air. It's also light enough that it won't crush your plants and still lets light through. These work a lot better than an old sheet or a blanket. It might not be practical to cover everything, but you might be able to save your highest priorities with the frost blanket. You can either pick these up at a local garden center or order them online. With spring snowstorms, we can also get heavy snow accumulation that can break branches on our trees and shrubs. So if we get a storm and you see a lot of snow piling up on your branches, it's worthwhile to grab a broom and knock the snow off your most vulnerable plants. Pay special attention to your upright junipers and your shade trees, since these tend to be the plants that get most damaged by spring snowstorms. Also, if the temperature dips well below freezing and you've already turned on your sprinklers, be sure to cover any exposed parts. The most common exposed part is the backflow preventer, which is that copper thing that is usually close to the back of your house. Cover that with a thick blanket to avoid freeze damage. So now that we've talked about what to do, let's talk about what to avoid doing. Number one, avoid planting too early. While it's okay to plant your cool season vegetables like pansies in April, it's too early to plant any frost tender plants. On average, our last spring frost usually occurs during the first 2 weeks of May for most of the Front Range. And that's why longtime Colorado gardeners will tell you not to plant your summer plants before Mother's Day. So try to hold off planting or just buy a lot of frost blankets to cover those plants when the weather dips below freezing. Number two, fertilizing your lawn too much. Many people fertilize their lawns only one time per year in April. So when they do it, they tend to put down too much fertilizer. And this can lead to problems like the lawn growing too fast or using tons of water or even lawn diseases like necrotic ring spot. It's better to take a more moderate approach by fertilizing your lawn 3 to 4 times per year with a reasonable amount. So don't overdo it on the lawn fertilizer. So to review, be sure to give your lawn some attention by watering regularly, mowing, aerating, and fertilizing if you didn't feed your lawn last fall. Get an early start on controlling your weeds and watch the weather to protect your landscape plants. Don't plant too early or fertilize your lawn too much. I hope you have a wonderful month of April with gorgeous weather. I will see you again in the next video, and thank you for watching.